Okay, good evening, everyone. We will call to order the meeting of the Sevastopol Board of Supervisors meeting for this evening, Monday, February 19th, 2024 at 7 p.m. And I would ask that everyone please rise as we join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, if our clerk would please do a roll call to establish a quorum for this evening.
Supervisor Mark Hayne.
Here.
Supervisor Jeannie Vogel.
Here.
Supervisor Derek Tennille.
Here.
Vice Chair Linda Wait.
Here.
And Chairman Dan Woelfel is excused.
All right, thank you. All right, so we will go around and do introductions. I don't think we need to introduce the board since our names are up front. But we'll start in the front there with Mr. Zettel. If you would please state your name and address.
Yes, good evening, Madam Chair. I'm Hugh Zettel. I live at 3986 Glidden Drive. I'm also District 14 Supervisor for the county of Door, which is basically the eastern half of the town of Sevastopol, and also Ward 1 of the town of Sturgeon Bay.
And I'm Dale Vogel. I'm also a county supervisor, and I'm on the west side of the highway. And I live in Windermere Drive.
Mr. Downing?
Hi, my name is Jim Downey. I'm with Gloucester, Vic and Downey in Sturgeon Bay, and I'm here on behalf of the Ken Stoppa Trust, for item number 98.
Mark?
Mark Pepperly, 5090 Highway 57.
Trent Olson, 5856 Timber Ridge Road.
Ryan Gaeta, 5423 Bayshore Road.
Derek DeMeese, North Country Road. Larry Chapman, Glidden Drive.
All right, thank you all. Public participation. So if you wish to speak to an item that is not on the agenda, you could make your comments now. Otherwise, if it is an agenda item, we will have an opportunity to address the board at that time. So does anyone have a matter that is not on the agenda for this evening? None? Okay, great. All right, so if our clerk would confirm that the agenda has been properly noticed, I would look for a motion to adopt that.
The agenda has been properly noticed.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jeannie.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda for Monday, February 19th, 2024.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to adopt the agenda as noticed. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, and then we have our previous minutes of the Board of Supervisors from Monday, January 15th, 2024. You've all had an opportunity to look at those. So I would, all right,
Okay.
questions?
Yes, line 37, the first payout of funds of, it says $5. And
What
make the
page, Jeannie?
remainder, of the minutes?
Page.
That's line 37.
Line 37 of the minutes.
Previous minutes.
Oh,
Of the
I know
January
that
15th.
was corrected.
That was correct.
All right,
Okay.
so that probably the wrong page got posted into
got it.
here.
Yeah.
But it's 525
Yeah, whatever the number
or
was,
something.
yeah.
It's amazing that they accept $5 to start the
That would be
I
a
think we'd be a
bargain.
little short.
Okay, so with that correction noted, and I think it's already been taken care of, I would look for a motion to adopt or to approve and place on file.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, number 8, pending business, discussion and action. We have an update on the audio-visual proposal for our town hall here. So Supervisor Vogel, if you would like to comment on that, please.
Sure, thank you, Vice Chair. So in late January, Chairman Woelfel, Laddie, Amy, Roger Ide from Northern Sound, and I met to go over the proposals. The chairman really wanted to impact the sound in this room, so everyone could hear in the gallery as well as live on the cable channel and the YouTube channel. So we decided that some of the items of equipment which were in Phase 2 would be done in Phase 1, thus the change of Phase 1 plus, and of course a change of cost. So I know that you have all read the information, fellow supervisors, but I'd like to, for the benefit of those here in the gallery and for those watching, I would like to just hit some highlights, so bear with me. This system will provide extreme ease of operation, simple custom interface. If Laddie or Derek are unable to be here, Amy or someone from this board could operate the system. This will be accomplished by installation of a Bose Mimo on the wall near Amy. And in addition to that, when the Communications Technology Committee considered upgrading the audio system at the chairman's request, we felt it was very important that the public using the room have access to the sound system for their purposes. The board agreed at a previous meeting. So a second Mimo will be located on the wall near the media room door at the back, toward the back of the room. So at Laddie's request, a wall plate will be installed where Laddie sets up the video control table. There will be a headphone amplifier connected to the audio feed to hear the audio mix for streaming recording. A boundary condenser microphone will be installed in the meeting room as an ambient sound mic to hear the people in the gallery. This will only be in the streaming audio. It will not come from the speaker in the media room. There is a long list of additional equipment in the proposal which all has been budgeted in the funds that will be coming from the Capital Projects Fund. So if the board has any questions or if I can answer.
We just have to approve
I would
that
make,
because we didn't have those funds for the first go-around.
no,
'Cause
we
had
did,
to not to exceed,
right.
and this is more than that number, so we'll
Right.
have to
We have
amend
to,
that.
I think if I just do a motion to approve this new amount.
Yeah.
But we do have those
The funds are
We do
there.
have-
designated
yeah,
funds
Yes.
for the
already,
next.
are earmarked for
Yes,
that.
in the capital improvement fund, yeah.
And so it's indicated here, Phase 1, are we anticipating a Phase 2?
It's possible that we will do a Phase 2, but a lot of the things that were in Phase, not a lot, some things that the chairman thought were really important to add into this phase, so that's why it's called Phase 1 Plus, should cover a lot of things. Now, what doesn't happen in Phase 1 is these mics aren't replaced, for instance. And there's a few other things, but in Phase 1 Plus, the speakers get replaced and things like that. So the sound in here should really be much, much better. And that'll be another conversation that can be had, whether we find out how Phase 1 works, if everything, how the sound is in here and everything, and then we'll just go from there and see if we really need to make a Phase 2.
Okay, I do have a couple comments.
Yeah.
So if the public is here, or even for us, using the screen there, say we were running something through the TV, and Amy, maybe you can help with, because we've had kind of a problem with audio on that too, it's not real loud. So if the public were to wanted to do a PowerPoint or a home video or something, would that tie to the speakers that we plan to put in here or not?
That's a good question. We really didn't go over that with him at that point. I'm sure that it could or it would. It's all Bluetooth connected,
Right.
so I'm sure that the ability would be there.
Maybe that's something we could ask him.
Yeah, we'll make a note.
Laddie, do you have any input on that?
I'm sure it can be done, I'm not sure it was part of the original proposal. But,
Well, with
I don't
technology,
think that
though,
would
I'm
be a big
sure it
deal.
can.
Yeah, I can.
it's technically possible. Linda, for the answer to your question, this system would allow me the possibility of controlling individual mics, which I cannot do now unless I want to walk back and get down near Amy's knees. And be able to control, someone leans back or they go too far forward, I have separate control over each mic. But someone else using the room doesn't necessarily care about that, they just want it
Right.
to be working. So we'll have both, a preset for other people, and I'll have full control. I mean, a tablet probably, so I can move around a little.
Okay. And then you did the recording at the ADRC. Was that Thursday night or Wednesday night? I don't even remember.
That was a
That
disaster.
sound quality was disastrous.
Well,
So are you saying, this is, I hope, going to be much, much better?
I think so.
Okay.
I hope
I don't know if
so.
it was because the room was so large, but,
It was a combination of mixing equipment, and it didn't work too well.
So in the past, the way the ADRC and our recordings have done in the past, when we did recordings there, we had to be careful because they had the speakers going for everybody in the gallery to listen to what everybody is up front on the dais. The problem is, because we were streaming, we also had to be careful not to get feedback from those speakers behind us from the mics up front. So with this situation that is we're getting, because of that ambient mic being separate and only affecting the stream version from what's live, it'll actually prevent that issue, and where the audio part in this room everybody can hear and it won't affect any of the recordings. So it'll be much better than what's at the ADRC.
okay. All right. Okay, so anybody else there? All right, so do we need a motion to
Sure.
proceed with that phase one then?
I'll be happy to make a motion.
Okay.
So I'd like- Go ahead.
I'll second.
Do you want me to say the motion before you second? It
Aye.
might be good to know that I make a motion to accept the proposal quote by Northern Sound and Video LLC in the amount of $19,624 and I believe 98 cents to upgrade the audio system.
All right.
I'll second that.
Okay,
Phase
I do
one
have a
plus.
okay, I do have a question. What is the time frame on this?
Well, the price is only held for a certain period of time. Normally
Will
it's
they
30
start
days, so it's
immediately,
60
or-
days. I think it'll start soon. Because the
Soon?
price, yes, I don't have the exact start date.
Well, yeah, it's good through end of March.
Yeah.
Okay.
I asked for I asked longer for like, but at least by the price would hold through the 1st of April. so.
And NS&V, they're from Green Bay?
Yes, they are.
Fox Valley, Green Bay?
Northern Sound and Video LLC from Green Bay.
Okay, so we have a motion to accept the Phase 1 work for a cost, or at a cost of $19,624.98. That's including installation. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? Motion carried. Thank you. All right. So our newsletter, we did not get a newsletter out last year, unfortunately. So I think you all have some ideas. I came up with some ideas as to what to include in that newsletter. Obviously, we have a new building inspection specialist, Brett Gillett. And I did talk to his son about doing an article and getting a photo, either just Brett or his entire team. So he said you can pick some information off their website, so I will work on that. Dates for the open book and board review, we are under a total revaluation this year, so those dates are up in the air as yet. But
True.
hopefully, if we can get this newsletter maybe out June or July, hopefully we'll have some dates by then, maybe.
We're anticipating them being done with the field work by the beginning of April. I hope that holds
good.
true.
Okay, so maybe we could have a date later in the fall.
Really
for
hoping.
For open book and assessment. So
Yes.
stay tuned for that.
Maybe we don't want to let them know too much, so give them a full house.
All right, and then a broadband update. Supervisor Vogel, do you think you would be willing to, can I assign your name?
I
to that?
bet you can do that.
All right,
That's, of course, providing I'm reelected.
all right, and
Doesn't
then
matter, you're still on.
we have had some interest about possibly starting a Sevastopol-based business community type organization. So I thought maybe we could reach out to put an article in the newsletter, reach out, okay, are you interested? This is what we could do for you. Hopefully there would not be any dues or anything like that, but I would work on that one too if nobody minds. Maybe Amy and I can work on it together.
At a previous meeting, didn't someone from was it Carrie?
Nellis.
The Nellises, yes,
Yeah,
I have
mentioned
several people
something.
that are interested.
Okay.
So we'll see how that goes. Park updates and upgrades. How about Supervisor Haynes?
I guess I can probably cover that.
Since we're redoing the concession stand and the bathroom.
Yeah, we'll know a lot more
Have the
coming up.
pickleball courts now, so a lot has been accomplished over at the park. Pickleball, anyone? I'm gonna just pencil in Arlene and/or Dan Woelfel for that one.
That's always good when someone's not here.
When they're not here, they get assigned tasks, that's it. And then we always have the question on what is the setback and where is the right-of-way and where are my landscape rocks okay in that area? So we do that almost every newsletter, but it doesn't hurt to remind. So we'll put to be determined on that one. And we always seem to have a question about camping. Can I camp on my own property? How long can I camp on my own property? So we'll put a TBD on that one as well. Cave Point and Shower Park, I'm thinking our chairman will
Yes.
probably do that one. And then photos are nice, so maybe we'll include some photos from our past Christmas party and our yard sale. So we will, of course, have another yard sale in June sometime, and the Christmas party is almost always the first Friday in December. And then something from our clerk, she can, maybe an update on election, how the elections are going. We'll have
How
lots
many
of
stamps do you have in
elections.
stock?
I just bought
How many stamps
$6,000,
she has in stock?
bought $6,600 before they went up.
And then our meeting dates for 2024 in town offices and contact information. Other suggestions, septic systems, short-term rentals, EMRs. Derek, maybe you would want to
Why is he shaking
do
his head?
something with that.
Yeah. Let
Okay.
me think about that one.
And then also we, this town contracts with the City of Sturgeon Bay Fire Department. So we have a new interim fire chief right now, Caitlin, drawing a blank on her name.
Montevideo.
Montevideo is interim chairman, or interim
Fire chief.
fire chief right now. So maybe she would give us something on, Amy suggested that too, burn permits, composting, burn barrels, whatever. So if you have any ideas, let me or Amy know, and we can start working on that and maybe shoot for June or July.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you. All right, number 9, new business, discussion action. Item A, Kenneth Anthony Stopa, trust petitions to rezone a portion of their property from wetland to single family to allow for a driveway, or installing a driveway through wetland areas in order to have access to his upland portion of his parcel. The parcel is there, parcel number. It's located about less than a quarter mile south of the intersection of East Whitefish Bay and Glidden Drive out on the east side of our town. And we have Attorney Downey here if he would like to recap, and then Derek and I can give input on what the Plan Commission recommended from our meeting last Tuesday. So, Attorney Downey, yes, please, if you would please use the microphone.
As she indicated, I'm Jim Downey, and I'm here on behalf of the Stop Us Trust. I'm not sure how much more I can add than is already on the agenda item, the Stop Us Zone. It's a half-acre vacant parcel. It's immediately south of 4839 Glidden Drive. there's a strip of essentially the entire boundary along Glidden Drive is zoned as a wetland. And that runs about 30 feet deep there. The rest of the parcel, or most of the rest of the parcel, is upland. They bought this parcel. Their intention is to put a single-family residence on there. In order to do so, they need to have the driveway access. So the request for rezoning is for 16-foot wide. That would be a 12-foot driveway with 2 feet on either side. And then, and I've sent a message into the planning department from this. I'm not sure where they got the 12 feet in length, because it actually would be anywhere from 20 to 28 feet. And that's going the east-west. It's north-south that it's 16 feet until it reaches the upland portion of the property.
Okay. That was a point that the Plan Commission noticed too, because the application said 12 feet, 16 wide by 12 feet in length, and the Army Corps of Engineers indicated 12 feet wide by 23 feet in length.
Yeah, and on one of the maps that was done up, it's identified as 368 square feet.
380 square feet.
380 square feet. So I do have to work with the planning department to correct that information to make sure that it's, because obviously 12 feet is not going to get them through it's not going to get them through the wetland.
Right, and plus, you need clearance and everything for an emergency vehicle, fire
Right.
truck or whatever, so. Yes, when we discussed this at the Plan Commission last week, I know one of the comments was you and your clients put a lot of work into this application with the various studies that were done by the DNR and the Army Corps of Engineers, so they appreciated that. Basically, no one had issues with the location of the driveway. You did provide a map of the location. It was, I'll say, on the northern end of the property.
Yes, it would be, the setback is 6 feet for the driveway, so it's essentially as far north on the parcel as it can be and still comply with the zoning.
All right. We did receive an email from one of the neighbors with a concern. I don't know if the rest of the board has seen that or
No.
not. Okay, I will.
No, that was my bad.
That's okay. An owner of an adjacent parcel expressed a concern that if the rezone was approved about water flow onto adjacent parcels. So I'm guessing that based on the DNR and the thorough Army Corps of Engineers study that they would address that, right?
Yes, and the plan does require a 12-inch culvert under the driver, so that's, under the driveway, so that will address the water flow issue.
Right, we had indicated that too. So again, there were no issues based on the DNR and the Army Corps of Engineers reports. It does require a culvert. It's just a sliver of parcel that is impacted. And of course, you'd have to comply with all the building permits and anything that land use might recommend or insist upon or condition. I think I've covered everything that the Plan Commission. Mr. Zettel, you were there? Derek, you were there? Okay. And the recommendation from the Plan Commission was that we recommended approval to the town board, and the reasons for our decision was based on the thorough analysis that was completed for the property. It would allow the owner to construct a residence in a residential area, in a residential neighborhood. It's situated pretty far to the north for the driveway permits, so not interrupting the entire frontage. Let's see, was the proposal consistent with the town comprehensive plan? We said yes, as long as it was a minimal effect on surrounding properties, and we welcome new residents and residential improvements. The concerns or objections that the town may wish to potentially address or conditions, again, our recommendation was subject to all of the conditions and regulations outlined by the Army Corps of Engineers, by the Wisconsin DNR, and any conditions that the land use might put on. And if you look at the very last page of the materials that were submitted, that pretty much summarized what the county was asking, if you recall that, Attorney Downey, the various conditions. Section 11.08, parent 3 of the comprehensive zoning code. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 areas there. So with all those conditions, installation and the conditions of the other entities, that it was just for driveway purposes only, that it not affect neighboring properties, and I guess the fill and the backfill, that's a different situation. So we only address the driveway and that change from wetland to SF20.
They changing the whole parcel to
No,
just that
Just that
strip?
just that strip. If you look at, again, that was in the packet,
Yeah.
that drawing towards
Yeah.
the end. It's this little area on the northern side.
It's clear.
Okay. Mr. Zettel, did I miss anything?
No, everything's
Right there.
very thorough.
Any other comments, Attorney Downey?
No, thank you.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion?
I will make that motion.
Okay. So, a motion to recommend approval?
Yep.
To
Motion
the-
to recommend the Kenneth Anthony Stopa Trust petition to rezone from wetland to single family, just for the driveway area. 16 feet wide up to 12 feet, which is subject to recheck from land zone to make sure it's the right width, but to create access to the upland portion of the parcel.
With all of the conditions that we mentioned earlier, based
Correct.
on Army Corps of Engineers.
Well,
land
we don't
use
have
and
to,
DNR.
we don't have to put all that in that, because we're just doing recommendation to the RPC, right?
Right,
Or- Yeah. their
Okay.
conditions are- Second.
all right, second by Mark. Any further discussion, questions, anything? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And you will receive notice then from the RPC of the hearing date. So,
Thank you from our side.
thank you. Destination Door County Stewardship Plan. So we have a new draft that is going to be good through the year 2034. I was on that Zoom introduction of the master plan. Excuse me while I scroll through
As
the
was I.
STOPA packet to find Destination Door County.
I was also on that call.
Page 89.
Yep.
Good Lord.
Okay. So the draft plan, I think, is, I forgot how many pages it is, but feel free to look through it. I'm losing my notes here. When it's going to be available or it's a draft, so it's going to be returned to their board for approval. I noticed that in the draft, it does have, transparency was a big issue between the destination Door County and the tourism zone and the municipalities. So they are trying to address that and may keep us all on the same page. If we have any questions, we also, in the correspondence, they send us a newsletter now to each municipality. So that's nice too. So I would just ask that you can find it online, and if you have any questions, I would contact Julie Gilbert, the director at the...
I had a note from being, watching it,
Okay.
that it was going before the board, Destination Door County Board on the 13th. So that's passed now for approval.
Yeah, they're working, I just found my notes.
Okay.
They're working to collect and share recreational and visitor opportunities and information with the municipalities and our businesses as well. So more balanced and manageable levels throughout the year is, that off-season. So, okay. Oh, they also suggested that the county look at doing an overall short-term rental regulation, which I, of course, commented on that if the county wanted to set some ground rules that apply to everyone, I guess I'd be okay with that. But I asked them to remember that each municipality is different. We are much different than downtown Village of Sister Bay. So we should still be able to have our own rules and regulations that fit our community.
Yes, you made that quite clear.
Yeah. Okay, so that's that. Culvert inventory. So on page 92 of your packet, there's some information there that came from Wisconsin Towns Association. Municipalities are required to have an inventory of their culverts and bridges on file by the end of the year. By April 15th, we have to decide who is going to do that. At our Door County unit meeting on Thursday evening at the town of Gardner, we have Thad Ash, our Door County Highway Commissioner, attending, and he is going to tell us all about this program. And my guess is that the county will offer to do that inventory. So if you like, we could have a motion tonight that the Door County Highway Department proceed with our inventory unless, for some reason, he says no, they cannot do it. And in which case, we'd have to hire a private engineering firm.
Would you like a motion?
Thoughts?
I think that's a great idea.
So,
If they're gonna be going around doing county things, I mean, that was the other question when we were talking earlier. The ones that are on county roads, are they still, do we take care of those? Like the one on County P? So, it's in our town, but the county takes that, right?
right.
I think if they're gonna be out doing theirs, or in our town, let's try to get them to assess them.
Well, and my question was too, it has to be performed by a certified bridge inspector. Now, I don't know, I'm gonna guess that our highway department has certified inspectors. If they don't, I guess they would have to go to the private sector as well.
They would know.
Right.
Well, it says
I'm
that
guessing.
the DOT will provide the guidance and direction on collecting information, so I mean, obviously there's information out there available. And I guess we'll find out on Thursday.
Right, we'll learn a lot more on Thursday
Yeah.
at our meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, municipalities, well, I know we don't have any certified bridge inspectors. County highway commissioners with county staff certified as bridge inspectors can do it. Or if they don't, then they have to go to the private sector. So, okay. Somebody want to make a motion
Sure.
to go with the highway department if they consent to do it for us?
I'll make a motion to request the Door County Highway Department proceed with the inventory of culverts. Do you need any date on that?
I don't think so.
Okay. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Second. I have one more real quick discussion here. So if you go down to page 94, assessment inspections,
Uh-huh.
it says right on there that the county will do the inspecting.
Under options to
Yeah.
collect and
With,
Yes.
with certified bridge inspectors.
Yes.
will
Within,
inspect.
so if they have one, they'll do within their county. So,
Right.
kind of got a leg up on them right there.
Right. And if something happens, we're actually meeting on April 15th. So if we would have to opt out and choose another provider or a different vendor, we'd still have time to do it. Okay? So,
Cool.
did you second that, Mark?
Yes,
He
I did.
did.
All right. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. And again, we'll learn more Thursday evening. Authorization for payment of our March vouchers, bills, and claims. We normally do not have a meeting in March unless there's a need to have a special meeting. So in the event that we do not have a meeting, I would look for a motion to approve those bills and that we issue checks.
I'll make the motion to authorize payment for March 2024 vouchers, bills, and claims in lieu of a board meeting.
Second?
Second that?
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carried. Thank you. Financial reports for January 2024. You have them in your packet. We have our account balances. We have our 2024 budget versus actual through January. And we have our listing of transactions for the month of January. Amy, is there anything you would like to add to that?
Yes, we're off to a very good start in our interest earned category. We budgeted $25,000 this year and we already have $10,000. We received our culvert aid for 2023 and that amounted to $22,250. The culverts that we were reimbursed for were East Dunn. That was between Weber and Pond Road. North Rower at the intersection of Clark Lake Road and the one on Town Line Road. So our February settlement checks have gone out to Sturgeon Bay School District, the Sevastopol School District, the county and NWTC, and the Sevastopol Sanitary District.
Great, thank you. All right, I would look for a motion to accept our treasurer's report for January 2024 and place that on file.
I'll make a motion to approve the January 2024 Treasurer's Report.
Second? By
Second.
Mark. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? None. Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, approval of vouchers, bills, and claims January 16th through this evening, February 19th, 2024. Has everybody had a chance to look at those and approve those? Derek, did you have your questions answered?
Yep, the snow plowing removal was also dating back to November, so
Oh,
Yep.
okay,
it's been for the entire season so far.
okay, all right. So, a motion to approve those vouchers, bills, and claims.
I'll make a motion to approve the voucher, bills, and claims January 16th, 2024 through February 19th, 2024.
I'll second that.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carried. Oral committee reports. want to comment on
Yeah,
broadband?
I would like to comment about something happened, a date change of some broadband issues. So Jessica Hatch recently informed me that the Capital Projects Fund grant award date, which we expected to be here from the Public Service Commission in March, has been pushed back to either April or May. This is because of the resignations and appointment of new commissioner to the PSC, Public Service Commission, and the need for the new commissioner to acclimate to the new position.
I'm sorry, what was that pushback again?
The CP, the Capital Projects Fund, from March to April or May. Or- so. And of course, everything to do with the AT&T contract was that the date, in effect, is not the date that we signed, but the date of the grant award, either yay or nay. So that's why that's going to affect the start time.
Okay.
Okay, just wanted people to know that.
Anyone else with an oral report? Okay, you have our Plan Commission minutes from our last meeting in the packet. And then also regarding Door County Tourism Zone Commission, we had our last meeting on February 15th. They have hired a new full-time person. His name is Refik. I'm not even going to attempt to say his last name, but he did introduce himself, and he seemed like a really nice gentleman, so hopefully that will work out with Juliana. So it's just the two full-time people that we have now. There's no longer a part-time person. So, and they're in their new location at the Door County Economic Development Center over on the west side of Sturgeon Bay. Let's see. Really nothing else to report from the zone, I guess. So, I guess I would look for a motion to place the Plan Commission meeting minutes from November 14th, 2023 on file.
I'll make a motion to put the Plan Commission meeting minutes of Tuesday, November 14th, 2023 on file.
Second.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Mr. Zettel, County Board Report. So in your packet, you have information on the well sampling program. You have information on the floodplain project, and also on, I don't recall if there was anything in there on the comprehensive plan and farmland preservation. We could talk about that later. So, okay? So, Mr. Zettel, take it away.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just the highlights, some of the brief highlights from the county board meeting from January 23rd. There were a few items relative to aid that the county gets from the state and awarding of grants, two of them relating to lake monitoring activities and another one's for lake restoration for European frogbit from an invasive species perspective. The county also received snowmobile trail aid for the 2024-2025 snow season. In addition, one of our tower generators went down, so we had to do a transfer of non-budgeted funds in order to repair that tower generator. Again, it's part of the towers for our EMS support, so we needed to get that replaced. The bulk of the meeting was spent listening to Cheryl Stevenson from GZA to discuss the first year results of a 4-year program on what's called Emergent Contaminants Update. So as you know, the county, since I think around 2019, has been working with the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh to do private well studies throughout the county. And they provided their last update, I think about 2 months ago at the Land Conservation Committee meeting. And that provides a good review of wells, and it looks at the, the various, chloroform, E. coli, arsenic, your typical standard well testing parameters. This study that GZA presented was based on grants that the land conservation, or excuse me, the Soil and Water Department got to look at emerging contaminants. So for example, there's a concern about forever chemicals, right? PFAS, that sort of thing, like they're dealing with over in Marinette, you know, because of the foam used at for fire use. So they study PFAS, they're studying other aerosols. They basically did a very extremely thorough testing procedure. They had requests for volunteers. Out of those volunteers, they then basically looked at the well permit information. They looked at the details of how the well was drilled. They made sure that where they were testing was in the proper aquifer underneath the county that they wanted to test for. And if they found certain contaminants, they did additional testing to look for another set of contaminants that are, you know, non-traditional, chromium, you know, looking at drugs, pharmaceuticals, that sort of thing. So overall, the county's wells, it kind of surprised them how good a shape the county is in compared to other parts of the state, so that's positive. Some of the results also mimicked some of the University of Wisconsin Oshkosh test results. A couple things they noted is historically it's well known that the groundwater and aquifers underneath Door County, because of the karst topography, the water moves very quickly. So one of the things they're looking at is maybe doing more than one test per year, especially, for example, after a large rainfall in the summer or in the fall period, because that might give a better indicator of potential contaminant risks. They noted some hot spots with arsenic that are atypical in a sense that when we think about arsenic, so let's say in the town of Sevastopol, we're worried about mixing sites from old orchards, right? If you think of Reynolds, Martin's Orchard, that sort of thing. But they're finding contaminants, you know, some elevated contaminants in areas such as along Lake Forest Park Road and Glidden Drive, and obviously there's no mixing sites for cherry orchards on Glidden Drive. So they are going to look at doing some additional tests for neighboring wells, because there are some instances where arsenic can be part of the rock strata, and so that's one of the things they want to just assure, you know, the owners, you know, what's in that well area, just from a preventative measure. They're also working then to aggregate this data along with the University of Wisconsin Oshkosh data. There are some areas from the University of Wisconsin Oshkosh data that has raised some concern, and that is one of the things they're going to also check with these additional tests. And the concerns are, if you look at the range of tests from 2019 to 2023, you see some elevated levels of nitrate on the western side of Bayshore Drive on the Bluff area. And, you know, there's no dairy farms up there, right? There's no CAFOs. There's, you know, where you hear a lot of the concern about nitrates that they talk about. And one of the things that they're looking at as a potential hypothesis is because of the density of homes and the septic tanks being on such shallow soils. You know, when you look at septic tank design or the way septic tanks work, their primary role is to manage coliform and bacteria. You know, septic tanks don't manage nitrates. They don't manage phosphates. And so with that higher density and, you know, given where the rock where that is, that's one of the areas they'll take a look at to see if the density of those is causing nitrate issues. So that's just something to watch for. And I think as a recommendation, I think it would be worthwhile with this test and with the other UW Oshkosh tests that have been conducted over the last 4 or 5 years. I think it would be great to have Greg Polthurst come in and just kind of give an overview of all the well testing. You know, I think the last time he was in front of the board was to provide the the very positive results from the Dunes Lake dredging and all the positive impacts it had on that on the watershed. in that area. So I think it would be a good idea just to allow Greg to provide, details of what's going on and the testing, and if there's any potential areas of concern that residents have that they can ask questions, let the board ask questions themselves. So I recommend that. Relative to Resource Plan Commission activities that I'm a part of, I think one of the areas that has been talked about is the fire number replacement update. We went through another RFP release just because of the size and scope of that effort, and we got bids back 2 weeks ago, and we might refine the bid process yet again. There were some assumptions made about the number of posts that would have to be replaced, and I think through some survey work, the number of posts that probably need to be replaced is going to go up. That increases potential costs because obviously you have to do a digger's hotline, because we already have to worry about underground lines. And again, these signs are going to be oriented perpendicular to the road, with the numbers on both sides, so it's easier to read. So there's some more work that needs to be done there. The other item on the Resource Planning Committee, which I shared with you in the packets that Madam Clerk sent out, is that there is a public hearing on March 7th at 3 p.m. in the County Chambers Room. It's basically a public hearing on the updated floodplain ordinance mandated by FEMA and the Wisconsin DNR. Probably the biggest change in this ordinance is the additional designation of a VE zoning area, VE for velocity, and it's basically in FEMA's analysis of the Great Lakes. There are areas that are potential risk to high water and wave action, and so they've outlined those areas along the lake shore and on the Bay of Green Bay side. And so I think that's there is information in the packet where you can take a look at where your property may or may not be impacted. So for example, there's really not any areas that are of risk from my kind of cursory look at it, because on the GIS tool you can look at the zoning flags, and you can basically set the zoning for the new FEMA requirements for 2024. But in the other area I represent in the town of Sturgeon Bay, that part of the lake shore is very low compared to, along Glidden Drive, Bark Road, South Cape Point Drive, etc. And there are a couple properties that are actually within that new FEMA, velocity zone. So, for example, if someone wanted to sell their property with those houses actually in that zone, they may have to do building updates in order to get floodplain insurance, right? So this all affects insurance. So obviously, if you do an all-cash deal, not a problem. But anything that affects your ability to get insurance in these new floodplain areas is something that homeowners, especially in those shoreline areas, should take a look at. So I encourage folks to attend that public hearing. It'll be available also on Zoom. Again, that's March 7th at 3 o'clock p.m. And if you're there in person, it's in the Chambers Room in the Government Center in Sturgeon Bay. Last but not least, an item I didn't include on here is there are meetings coming this week in the admin committee, and then also a follow-up with the finance committee to look at additional headcount to address resource needs in the land use department to help with certificates of compliance, enforcement, and other issues that I know we've discussed on more than a few occasions to this board. And they had a consultant spend a significant amount of time with the department to look at the issues. There are some significant issues, and I'll just kind of leave it at that will be discussed in length at the county board meeting. But they're looking, I believe, at least with two full-time resources to add to help with certain aspects, and they'll probably do some other shuffling of some resources to address the concerns within that department. So there'll be more information coming out at the upcoming county board meeting in a week. So with that, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
The new E911 signs, are they going to be blue?
Yes,
Do they have to be blue?
that's typically the color that's being used in most
I know it is,
municipalities.
but they're just, I don't know, they're just so obvious.
That's
I know that's the point of
That's
it,
the point.
but
That's the point.
still, it's just, I don't
Have you
know.
been to
Okay,
the
well, I
UP?
guess we don't have a choice.
Have you been to the UP? Theirs are red.
Oh, well, western Wisconsin has blue.
Yeah.
And then on that well testing program, I noticed there was a total of 173 volunteers. 31 of them were from Sevastopol.
that.
We had the most volunteers
Yeah.
from our community.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you get any brownie points for that. But, and then regarding the floodplain, so that's the 80-page report. At the very end, there was a summary of properties, and I thought I saw Glidden Drive on there and Clark Lake on there.
Yes, those are all
the big-
subject to the new VE.
The VE,
the VE,
velocity or whatever.
that velocity zone.
Right.
So that basically is, all on Glidden Drive. There are a couple areas that are also subject to that on the Bayshore Drive area.
That you mentioned,
Yep.
okay.
So, it's basically all around the county. And
Right.
in the summary map that's there, you'll see all those green blocks that basically show those new areas that are going to be subject to that. And then underneath those blocks would be all the parcels, underneath there that you can then query to see if in fact your property is impacted.
Okay, and then the Door County Land Uses update of the comprehensive and farmland preservation plan, so that's in the works too, right? There's going to be public hearings this fall.
Yes.
Should we be concerned with anything specifically in that?
No, I don't think so. And I think one of the things, Linda, that we haven't had a chance to follow up is based on these other actions that the land use department is working on, and with the added resources, I don't know if that's going to cause a shift to some of those other comprehensive plan updates to maybe move a little bit here or there.
Okay.
So that's something that I am going to ask Mariah about. I think it probably should shift a little bit. I think they have plenty of time to meet their requirements for their 2045 plan, which is really the draft that they're working on. So I think that's something that if we need to, we might push that a little bit, but I don't think there's anything really of urgency that needs to be updated in there or we have to be worried about in the near term.
Okay.
Right. Great.
Anybody else have anything?
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, licenses and permits. You have the list of, let's see, page 142. Building permits. That's it. Correspondence. We have a letter from the Nature Conservancy. They gave us a donation in appreciation of our efforts to provide fire protection for our properties in the area, and that was $100. So thank you, Nature Conservancy. I think that's been an annual donation of theirs. We have the City of Sturgeon Bay Fire Department reports for December and January. We have, I mentioned earlier, the Destination Door County. This is their destination connection. It's specific to the town of Sevastopol, and we receive that monthly or every other month. It has the contacts in there, where you can find data on visitors, the year in review. Also included from the Tourism Zone Commission are the units that were available, occupancy, average daily room rates, and a summary by municipality with the amount of room tax that each municipality has received. And then we have from the Wisconsin Department of Revenue, a comparison on what our municipal assessed value is versus the Wisconsin Department of Revenue base value. So if you scroll down to the bottom of that page, we were nearly 100% in 2017. Now in 2023, we have fallen off of that to 65%. No big surprise. We heard that earlier from or last year from our assessor. So hence the revaluation of all properties in our town. And from the state of Wisconsin, our payment advice, our credit for municipal services that we provide, $880.72. Oh yes, the detour. So I believe this is starting in April. So in addition to the detour through and around Egg Harbor, which is supposed to be done by Memorial Day, there's also going to be a detour along Highway 42 from the mid-junction, 57 and 42, all the way up to Egg Harbor, I'll say. So you have the detour map in there. I know there was already some concern from businesses. How are people going to access our business? Like I said, there is a detour route. County P will take you over to businesses located there. Of course, we have other roads going across from east to west or west to east across the town. So don't anticipate any problem. We should be able to. And I noticed that on our electronic sign, Egg Harbor has a big billboard running. We are open during construction, so perhaps we can do the same thing.
Absolutely.
And nobody should suffer from that detour. I'm not sure how long it's going to happen, if there was a timeline in there or not.
There was a letter that we had received from the DOT, and they had stated that it was going to last,
April,
I want to say through June.
To June. Oh,
And then
I
it
see.
was going to open,
It says 50 days.
Yep,
hopefully July, the
Oh.
1st of July.
Okay,
So
good.
it's going to take a chunk of time out of their revenue, out of their summer.
Yep, it's April, May to June. And then also, businesses can go to the Wisconsin Department of Transportation site, and they can get temporary sign permits, other resources for their business during that detour.
We should get that up on our website, those
Yeah.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah.
those
Sure.
temporary
I agree.
leaves.
If
We
you
should
could
get
do
those up
that,
there for
please.
businesses and stuff they want to get.
Yeah, good suggestion. I see they do temporarily take it off over Memorial and Juneteenth holiday.
And then, as Mr. Zettel mentioned, University of Oshkosh, I guess they're going to do another round of private well monitoring testing. Cost is $30. Again, reach out to University of Wisconsin Oshkosh if you're interested. And that's all of the correspondence I have. Announcements. League of Women Voters is sponsoring a Board of Supervisors Voters Forum Wednesday, March 6th, starting at 6 p.m. right here at the Town Hall. So that is available for everyone. Our clerk tells us that absentee voting for the spring election begins Tuesday, March 19th. Please contact her if you have any questions regarding absentee voting. The spring election is Tuesday, April 2nd. Polls are open from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. Please make sure you have your proof of identification, and if you need to register, your proof of residency. Our next Board of Supervisors meeting is scheduled for Monday, April 15th at 7 p.m. And then we have our annual meeting on Tuesday, April 16th, beginning at 6 p.m. That is a recap of all of 2023. We'll have our financial information, probably reports from each of our committees and commissions and any other information that we can put out there recapping 2023. Did you have a question, Derek?
Yeah, as for the detour, I did read that Egg Harbor on their town website is gonna have detour maps for people to get around. Is that something we can do for our website, for the town of Sevastopol, for us with the businesses? Just do some detour maps and stuff on our website?
Yeah. Post a PDF of that detour map out there or something. Sure.
Okay.
Sounds good. Agenda items for April and/or future meetings. A few meetings back, we talked about ordinance organization, and we did have a couple volunteers to help with that. Jeff Lane, Jeff Schmeck-Pepper, and Laddie Chapman. That is not urgent, so again, thank you for volunteering, and we will look at that at some future time. So, okay, just cross-referencing our ordinances instead of by chronological order across reference. So here's the ordinances that deal with driveways or with trails or whatever. Let's see, the floodplain update, we could maybe bring back the Door County Comprehensive and Farmland Preservation Plan, if that needs further discussion. Anything else other than the normal business? Newsletter, see how we're doing on that. Good? All right. Anything else from anybody?
I think Derek's
Okay.
turn.
Motion to adjourn?
All right,
Second.
okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We are adjourned. Thank you all.